because it is a developmental issue, to learn what you actually should have learned early in childhood, but now in your adult life. To learn how to have a relationship where you can have yourself at the same time as being in relationship with other people. Because chances are, if you came from this type of a situation, you can only feel a strong sense of self in one or another scenario. Here's what it looks like. Either you can only feel yourself when you're totally alone, or you can only feel yourself when you're in a relationship but opposed to someone. Meaning you've got to be in conflict with them, or setting yourself apart from them, or pushing against something to even feel like you have a boundary. Now, both isolation, so you can feel yourself, and opposition, so you can feel yourself, leads to suffering. In order to heal from enmeshment trauma, you must do what you were never able to do in childhood, which is to actually develop a healthy sense of self, or what we would call a core. This means developing boundaries, learning how to have the self within the context of relationship without resorting to either codependent or narcissistic strategies. Obviously, this process goes much better when the entire family is involved in altering the way that each member relates to the other, so that each can have a sense of self and maintain closeness with each other too. To understand more about this, you can watch my video titled Family, The Truth About Family. But when this is not possible, this can be done within a friendship or within a partnership. Again, if you're doing this within a friendship or a partnership, it's best if the other person is involved in this process too. It's pretty important that they understand that you've got some developmental trauma, right? Because they're going to be participating and helping you to have a sense of self within the relationship. This process of working to define yourself means figuring out what you feel and think and like and dislike and need and want, and then making changes to determine the course of action that best suits your needs, and communicating effectively with the other person too. Don't forget that healing from enmeshment, which is really an extreme form of codependency, doesn't mean swinging the pendulum all the way to the opposite side and becoming narcissistic, where it's all about me and I, and that's not what it's about. What it's about is really powerfully learning to define your personal feelings, thoughts, needs, wants, preferences, truths, right? At the same time as recognizing that other people also have their own feelings, thoughts, needs, preferences, truths. And everything that you do impacts them, the same way that everything they do impacts you. So it's about there being two in a relationship, not just one. If you have enmeshment trauma, it's always been one person in a relationship. That's whoever you had to enmesh yourself to, right? We don't want to swing the pendulum, where all there is in the relationship now is you. It's about two. The scary reality, if you have suffered from enmeshment trauma, is that you're not actually living an authentic life. If you were not allowed to develop a healthy sense of self, and you didn't really know what your personal feelings and thoughts and desires and needs and purpose and truth was, then how can you expect yourself to have made the right decisions for you specifically up to this point? The reality is you probably made a lot of decisions and changed a lot about your life based on something that's not actually real about you or true to you. You could have chosen relationships with people who are not actually compatible to you. Now, this is both terrifying for you and other people in your life. It means that becoming authentic may imply many, many changes to your life, changes that will affect you and everyone around you. But life satisfaction, which could be the only reason you are watching this video right now, is really only possible on the other side of deciding to live an authentic life. It's on the other side of you powerfully figuring out what your unique feelings, thoughts, needs, preferences, truths are, so that you can make the right decisions for you in your life. The good news is, the life that you've always been looking for and missing out on is on the other side of doing this. Have a good week.